Modern warfare has evolved drastically. Gone are the days of clearly defined battlefields and conventional armies. Today's conflicts are often asymmetrical, involving guerrilla warfare, terrorism, and the use of advanced technology. While these changes have led to shifts in military tactics and strategies, one consequence remains constant: the devastating impact on the environment and the people who depend on it. From the battlefields of Europe to the deserts of the Middle East, the scars of war run deep. These scars are not just physical, they are environmental as well. The use of explosives, chemical weapons, and other destructive technologies leaves a legacy of pollution and degradation that can last for generations. Furthermore, the increasing demand for resources, driven by population growth and economic development, adds another layer of complexity to modern warfare. Conflicts over water, oil, and minerals are becoming more frequent, further exacerbating the environmental toll of war. The environmental consequences of modern warfare are far-reaching and demand our attention. We must acknowledge the hidden costs of conflict, not just in terms of human life, but also in terms of the damage inflicted upon our planet. Modern warfare inflicts a devastating toll on the environment, often described as ecocide. Deforestation, a significant consequence, occurs due to military operations, the construction of military bases, and resource extraction to fuel conflicts. The loss of forests leads to soil erosion, habitat destruction, and climate change, disrupting ecosystems and impacting biodiversity. Pollution from various sources further contaminates the environment. Explosives and weapons release toxic chemicals into the soil and water sources, poisoning wildlife and threatening human health. The remnants of war, such as unexploded ordnance and landmines, continue to pose risks long after conflicts cease, contaminating land and hindering development. The destruction of infrastructure, including industrial facilities and oil wells, often leads to the release of hazardous materials into the environment. Oil spills, for instance, devastate marine life and coastal ecosystems, while chemical leaks contaminate water supplies and agricultural land. These forms of pollution have long-lasting impacts, affecting human health and hindering economic recovery. The environmental consequences of modern warfare are not isolated incidents, but interconnected issues that demand a comprehensive approach to mitigation and prevention. Recognizing the interconnectedness of environmental health and human security is crucial for building a sustainable and peaceful future. While the environmental consequences of modern warfare are severe, the human cost is undeniable and immediate. Civilians living in conflict zones are disproportionately affected, facing displacement, loss of livelihoods, and long-term health problems. The destruction of infrastructure disrupts access to essential services like healthcare, clean water, and sanitation, exacerbating the humanitarian crisis. Landmines and unexploded ordnance pose a persistent threat to communities long after conflicts end. These remnants of war indiscriminately kill and maim civilians, hindering reconstruction efforts and preventing the return to normalcy. The presence of landmines also restricts access to agricultural land, impacting food security and economic development. The psychological trauma inflicted by war is another significant aspect of the human cost. Children in particular are vulnerable to the psychological effects of witnessing violence, losing loved ones, and being displaced from their homes. These experiences can have long-lasting consequences on their mental health and well-being. Moreover, conflicts often lead to the displacement of populations, forcing people to flee their homes and seek refuge in other areas. This mass displacement puts a strain on resources and infrastructure in host communities, potentially leading to social tensions and instability. Addressing the environmental and human costs of modern warfare necessitates a multifaceted approach that combines preventative measures, international cooperation, and sustainable practices. One crucial step is to strengthen international humanitarian law, holding perpetrators of environmental damage accountable for their actions. Promoting sustainable military practices is another essential aspect of mitigating the impacts of war. This includes minimizing the environmental footprint of military operations, investing in renewable energy sources, and developing less destructive technologies. By adopting sustainable practices, militaries can reduce their ecological impact and contribute to a healthier planet. Investing in post-conflict environmental remediation is crucial for restoring ecosystems and rebuilding communities. This involves clearing landmines and unexploded ordnance, detoxifying contaminated areas, and implementing reforestation programs. These efforts not only restore the environment but also create job opportunities and foster economic recovery. International cooperation is paramount in addressing the global challenges posed by modern warfare. Sharing knowledge, technology, and resources can enhance the effectiveness of environmental remediation efforts and promote sustainable peace-building initiatives. By working together, nations can mitigate the impacts of war and create a safer and more sustainable future for all.